नित्यं ध्यायन्ति योगिनः कामधां मोक्षदां चैव ओंकाराय नमो नमः। वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरा गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदन्त वन्दितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्मच्युत शंकर प्रभृतिभिः देवे सदा वन्दिता। सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So welcome again. Those were actually a series of mantras that I learned from a child, and we used to sing them every Sunday school all throughout, but it's actually what people sing in general. So the first one was Omkaram Bindu, which was talking about the Omkar. The second was for Vakratunda, which was for Ganesha, to remove all obstacles. I also sang to Saraswati for knowledge. I also said Guru Brahma for the talking to the three Gurus, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, to also for guidance, and also a prayer for peace, and then the Gayatri mantra at the end, which was repeated 3 times. So again, welcome. Excuse me, just gonna grab some water. So I hope you can hear me all right. Do let me know if the volume is too loud or too soft, and I'll try to come closer to the mic. So welcome. So today I'll be talking about Shivaratri, which is actually on the 13th of this month, next week. But we've already started celebrating since last week. I actually attended the first puja, and they'll be doing pujas and mantras every single day until the grand day on the 13th and it changes every year. So I'm going to actually be reading a little bit of information. Just so you know, all of the information that I'll be presenting you on Shiva and Shivaratri is not my own information. I've taken all of it from my guru, and also from other sources that I found were were authentic, and with people who I feel know what they're talking about. Because sometimes you do find things that are made up online. So I really did stick with information from the gurus that I know about. So Shivaratri, what is it? So Shivaratri is a really important festival in India. It is, I'm going to read this part because I actually never really, there's certain things, aspects of it that you don't really remember, you just do it. So it falls on the 14th day of the dark fortnight of the Magha month of the Hindu calendar. So again, the Hindu calendar is a lunar calendar, not a solar calendar. And the actual word Shivaratri, Shiva is auspicious and Ratri is night. And it actually occurs every month. So there is a Shivaratri every single month. But this particular Shivaratri coming up on the 13th is the Mahashivaratri, which is the great Shivaratri. So it is considered even more auspicious and more beneficial if you actually celebrate on this day. But of course, you can celebrate it every single month on that 14th day of the month, the lunar calendar. So it is said that this is a time where God and man are the closest. And at midnight is the best time where you can actually receive divine inspiration, divine grace. And Shiva is actually known to be one of the easiest gods to please. And he actually gets into trouble. There are many, many stories of how easy it is actually to please Shiva. And he doesn't care if you're a human, if you're a god, even demons and people who really probably should not be receiving things have received wishes and grace from him. Some famous ones that I can think of is the Rakshasa Ravana in the Ramayana. He received many boons and gifts from Shiva. There are many instances of him getting into trouble by giving too many people wishes and beings wishes, because he is so easy to please. You just need, they say all you need is water and a bilva leaf, which is a leaf with 3 sort of prongs on it. And that's all he needs, and a pure heart, and he'll come. And I'll tell you some silly stories afterwards about that. So usually on the night of Shivaratri, it's said you're supposed to do an Akhand Bhajan. So an Akhand Bhajan is actually saying bhajans or kirtans or mantras or prayers for 24 hours. Where I grew up, we usually just went until midnight, but you can start from 24 hours before that. Only I think once I've ever done the full 24 hours for Shivaratri. Usually in Vancouver, where I am right now, we usually just do until midnight. But again, that's also because it's difficult to sometimes do the full night with fewer people. And at midnight is usually when we would bathe the lingam. So it's also the night where it says that the lingam is emerged. And I have, where did I put it? I have a version of the lingam here. There, you may have seen different types of lingam. So this is one aspect of the lingam. So it is said that the lingam emerges on Shivaratri. And so the lingam this is supposed to be the form of the formless, pretty much, where there is no end, there is no beginning, there is no face, there is no up or down. So it's pretty much an egg, this version of the lingam. And so it does come from the Sanskrit root le, which means merges. So it is the form from which all forms merge. So it is the representation of Shiva, because originally Shiva wasn't this physical man being. It was just the energy of God. But in order for people to associate with him better, he became this physical being. Originally, it was as the lingam. There is also another form of a lingam, which I just had, but I think my son took it away. I don't have the actual form of the other lingam, which is actually a phallic symbol, But I have this one that somebody in my family made when they were a child. So you must have seen some. I know this is not a real lingam. This is just a Play-Doh one. So that looks like that. So the lingam would be here, and then you would pour water or ghee or whatever other objects, and it would slide down. And you must have seen these. I'm just going to put these here. My Play-Doh lingam, the real lingam, to give you just an example of that. So, so again, this lingam is just a symbol of the beginningless and the endless, the limitless. As I said, no front, no back, no beginning, no end. It is what one would imagine the formlessness or the nirakara would to be. And that's all I'm really going to say about the lingam right now. How it is worshipped on the day. I've seen different things happen. When I've gone on the nights before, the pundit would pour, actually I wrote all these down for you on exactly what was poured, so I could give you accurate information. I see where I put it now. Can't find it, but I know what it is. So they'll put water. Usually they'll put milk. So there'll be lots of jugs of milk. There'll be, what else would there be? Ghee, yogurt, haldi, or turmeric, vibhuti. And so this is, I brought some vibhuti to show as well. Vibhuti is it's ash, and it's made out of, this particular vibhuti is made out of different herbs. Sometimes it's actually made of cow dung that is burnt into ash form. I'm not quite sure which one this is. I think this is probably the cow dung one. But the Shiva followers may use, what's it called? Cremation ground ashes. So the ashes from people who have died, and they would smear that all around them. So vibhuti, as I is symbolic of Shiva as well. It is, again, a symbol of destruction. This is where we all end up being at the end. But as a physical aspect, it is also a powerful thing. So people will put it on their third eye, on their throat chakras, heart chakras, to expand the consciousness. Right, so for the lingam, they would pour different objects, and these are all symbolic. And again, when these ceremonies were first created, they created these physical ceremonies because really this is a festival of internal introspection, really. And it's more of an internal practice. However, for many people, that's quite difficult. So these physical ceremonies, these physical activities were created in order to focus your mind on the divine and on God and the spirit of Shiva, the auspiciousness, so that you can realize the goal, which is Shivoham, or that you are Shiva. And in this case, remember that Shiva doesn't mean the physical aspect of Shiva. For many people, that's what it does mean. It does mean that man with the matted hair, with the snakes around his neck. But in reality, it's the Ishvara, it's the divine, the divine. So that you realize this Atma aspect within yourself. Just trying to see if I've missed anything here. So I wanted to go through some of the symbols of Shiva, so that because I'm going to teach you some of these songs in a moment, and they have different. Every name and every aspect has a story behind it. I can't go through all of the stories right now, but I will tell you a few. So the actual word Shiva means auspicious one, and he has so many names. I think there were when I was just reviewing my information, there are about 30 or 40 that are commonly used. But there are hundreds out there. I even saw one, well, usually they have 108 or 1008 when you do recitations of the names. So 108 names of Shiva, 108 names of Krishna, 108 names of a particular guru is very common. So I'm not going to go through all, but I'll go through a few right now. So Shiva, I already said, means auspicious one. Sada Shiva means eternal one. Hara. So you'll hear this a lot in Shiva bhajans or kirtans. Hara, 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 Mahadeva. So you're saying Hara actually means the destroyer. So as I had mentioned before, Shiva is part of the Hindu trinity. So you have Brahma, who is the creator, Vishnu, who is the protector, and Shiva, who is the destroyer. And each one of the trinity actually has a spouse, or the I don't know, I guess it's a spouse that go along with them. So Brahma, because he has to create, his wife is Saraswati, who is the goddess of knowledge and wisdom and music. And then you have Vishnu, who is the preserver of resources, the preserver who has to protect. So he needs resources, so he has his other half as Lakshmi, who is the goddess of wealth and resources, pretty much. And then there's Shiva, who is the destroyer. He destroys, and it's not only the destruction of the world, it's the destruction of the ego, the destruction of evil qualities. And in order to do this, he requires Shakti, which is energy. So his consort is Parvati. So Parvati, his wife is sometimes called Parvati. It's sometimes called Shakti. You'll see many different forms. Gauri is another common one you'll hear in songs as well. So you may hear Gauri Ganesh. Uma is another name for her as well. So you'll also see his name attached with the female aspect for that Shiva Shakti, that male female, that the energy is almost like it's like the yin yang as well. So it's the both sides of the coin. All right, so another name he's called is Shankara. So that is, Shankara means one who gives happiness or grace. So you'll hear Shankara or Shamkara. It's a kind of a nasally kind of sound there. So Sham is that he grants Ananda. So at the supreme level, he is the grantor of Ananda. You'll also hear Anutosh. I haven't actually really heard of in a song that I have read, but it's quite a popular word. And as I said, he's easy to please. And as I said, he gets into a lot of trouble for this at times. Nataraja is a very common name you'll hear him called. So Natya is dance. Raja is king. So Nataraja is the Lord of Dance. And the Lord of Dance, you'll often see him with his hands up, and he'll have flames around him stepping on a demon. And this is symbolizing the cosmic dance. And he's squashing the ego. And I'll go into the cosmic dance a little bit more later, but that's also another name you'll hear. Shambho. You'll hear this a lot in the songs we'll be singing in a few minutes. Shambho means source of happiness. What other ones? Mahesh. So Mahesh is actually my father's name. So Mahesh means Maha, which is great, and Isha or Ishwara, which is Lord or God. So Mahesh is great Lord. So my dad is the great Lord. No, just joking. Nandi. So Nandi is his vehicle. It is a bull. And when you go to a Shiva temple in India or just anywhere, you'll have the lingam sort of back here in the temple or in the side, and then there'll be a bull in the front. And we used to think it's sort of like the guardian, but really it means more than that. He represents dharma, which is right action, and each foot of the Nandi represents Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema. So Satya, truth; Dharma, right conduct; Shanti, peace; and Prema, love. So those are the values that you need to instill within yourself in order to get to the lingam, or the eternal auspicious one. He does have two children. As you know, Ganesha is one of his children. Another child that he has, and it's not really well known, in India it's quite popular, is Subramanyam. In South India, they actually use the name Kartikeya. And Kartikeya is more commonly used in South India and Sri Lanka, and he's very, very popular in South India more than North India. And so, as you know, Ganesha is the remover of obstacles. With Kartikeya, he's more warrior-like. And so he's sort of the god of war, but he does other things as well. And the fun story is that Ganesha rides a mouse. Ganesha, the elephant son, rides a mouse. His son Subramanyam or Kartikeya rides a peacock. His wife rides a lion, and he rides a bull. Yet, so this really unusual family are all together, and they're all peaceful. So it's actually a model for a peaceful family. How can a lion get along with a peacock or a rat and a bull? But they're all together and they're all friends. So again, this is all symbolism on how to have unity within the family unit. So other names, and I'm going to tell you a story about Shiva in a minute. So Trayambaka, so he is known for his third eye here. You usually see him with a slit eye, and it's always half open, half closed, or fully closed, because there's many stories that if his eye opens, he can destroy you within a second. And there's this great story with Bhashma Bhushitanga. He was a demon who was just being very bad. But that's another story. I'm not going to talk about that one today. There's so many stories and so much information that I'd like to say. I already spoke about the vibhuti, which is usually you'll see it all around him. Another one are the rudraksha beads. So you may have seen these. These are associated with Shiva. So Rudra is actually a name, another name of Shiva, but it's a name that predates the name Shiva, if that makes sense. So Rudra is found in the Vedas, and he was supposed to be the god of the wind and the roar. So it actually means the one who roars. So that Rudra sort of transformed into Shiva and was amalgamated into the Shiva that we see now. And Rudra is not really seen as a separate entity, it is seen as Shiva. So if you chant the Rudram, which is a very long prayer, about half an hour long, with many different stotras, you're talking about Rudra, but people still imagine Shiva. And so this is Rudraksha beads. And there's some stories that this is Shiva's tears. I really don't know what the real story is. There's so many legends. And again, I remember going to India once, and the man was explaining that even on the Rudraksha, there's different qualities and grades of Rudraksha versus if you have a 5-face, because there's little lines here. You probably can't see that very well. There's little lines on each one. And so that's how you can tell if it's a fake Rudraksha or real Rudrakshas, how the lines look. And then if there's one line, it is better than if it has 5 lines, but it's more rare. There's a lot of Rudraksha, but this is also very good for protection as well. So many people will just wear Rudraksha beads as a bracelet or as a mala around them for protection. I usually just use mine for prayers. I don't really wear it because it's quite long and heavy, as you can see. And this one I did get from India many years ago. So other things that are associated with him. So he is supposed to live on Mount Kailash, which is a place where there's only celebration. It's supposed to be a mountain in the Himalayas. You can actually see it online. It's very popular there. So Shiva is also supposed to be the Adi Guru. So he's supposed to be the greatest guru. He's supposed to be the first one. He who invented yoga. So many sannyasins or sages and saints, they would look towards Shiva as their guide, as opposed to even Vishnu or Brahma or any of the other gods. And he's also, interestingly enough, most people aren't aware of this, he is the originator of music and dance. So even though Saraswati, the goddess Saraswati, is the goddess of music, she isn't the originator of music. It is said that Shiva actually gave music to sage Bharata Muni, don't know when, and gave that art to him, and then he codified it and later on taught everybody. Bharata Muni was supposed to be the first sage. And what else? He's also called Bholenath. I'm trying to go through these words because we'll be repeating them a lot in the song. So Bholenath, he's the kind-hearted one, so you'll hear that a lot. Now this is an interesting word, Bhairava, or Bhairava. Now this is the ferocious aspect of Shiva. So it is the Lord of Terror. And you'll really see him with his hair matted. He looks kind of grungy. He's covered in ashes. This is sort of the image you would see in the cemetery. And it's the you don't mess with me Shiva version. And it's interesting to note that Bhairav is also a raga. And the counterpart is Bhairavi, which is Parvati, which is so you have Bhairav and Bhairavi. Bhairavi is actually a very common raga to be sung in South India for actual vocal warm-ups. You'll hear it like sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa ni dha pa ma ga re sa. And for the life of me, I cannot think of the Shiva version of it right now, but once I remember, I'll let you know that one too. Okay, other ones. Jata you'll hear, which means his matted hair. He's supposed to have pretty much dreadlocks. Shiva Tandava, again, this is a conscious dance. Tandava is the dance, the cosmic dance. Spoke about, I think I've got most things. Okay, so one of the stories I wanted to tell you about that'll explain why Shiva looks the way he does. So it is said, again, I don't really know timelines. These are just stories that we grew up with. There was a war between the demons and the gods at this time. And they wanted to turn the ocean So in India, they have these butter churns where you'll have a pot and then you have a stick and then there's a string attached around it, coiled, and then there'll be two people. Well, there could be one lady pulling it like this, or there could be one on either side, and they just pull back and forth, and that turns the churn to create the butter. So the churning of the ocean would be a part where they wanted to churn it, so spin the ocean, so that they can get out the amrita, or the nectar. So what they did, the gods and the demons decided to work together in order to get this. So the nectar is supposed to gain immortality, and everybody really wanted this. So what happened is Vishnu created himself. This is one of his second incarnation as Matsya, which is the turtle. No, that's not right. Matsya is the fish. I forgot the name. Kurma, I believe, which is the turtle that looks like this in dance. And so he was there. They got a mountain and they put it on top of the turtle, Vishnu turtle. And then they got a snake, the king of snakes, and they wrapped it around the mountain. And the gods are on one side and the demons were on the other side, and they're churning this ocean. But as they're churning it, lots of other stuff comes out. So before you can get to the nectar, all sorts of very dangerous poisons started coming out. So the one poison that was coming out was called hala hala. And you'll hear this in the songs as well. So hala hala is a really, really deadly poison. And if it touched the earth and the universe, it was said it was going to destroy everything. So they were wondering, what can we do? So they started to pray to Shiva, and Shiva came down, and he came and he drank the poison. And you'll see many pictures of this online of him drinking the poison like this. And as he was drinking it, it was heating his body up quite a lot. And so to try to cool him down, they started streaming the river Ganga on his head, and that wasn't working. It was still too hot. He was feeling it. They had to do something. So they took the crescent moon and they stuck it on his head to cool him down. Still wasn't working. So then they actually just stuck the goddess Ganga on his head. And so she's always pouring water on him. And that's actually a form of abhishek. So abhishek is sort of like an anointment, as I was telling you how you would pour these different aspects on the lingam. So they were pouring, he was always being anointed, always being blessed by this sacred water on him. So that's why we have the moon, which actually symbolizes your mind. And you have the Ganga river on him. And also you'll notice that Shiva turned sort of like this purplish color. And that's actually supposed to be said it was a result of the poison that he drank. And you'll see his throat. This is another one, Nilakanta. So he has a blue throat, because when he drank the poison, he kept it in his throat. If he ingested it fully, he would have, they say he would have gotten sick and died. So he always kept the poison right here. So that's why he's depicted with a blue throat. Oh, I forgot one. To keep him cool, they wrapped snakes around him to keep his neck cool as well. So he had the snakes, he had the Ganga, and he had the Chandra, or the moon, all to keep him cool. And again, these are all symbolic as well. So the snake is symbolizing the Kundalini, actually. So you'll see him with snakes on his wrist sometimes, but definitely on his neck, the cobra snake. And really that's symbolizing the Kundalini going up. And yeah, so that's that story. All right, so I thought we should probably sing now. I think I covered most of the names. There's so many names. These is just a list of names. I just wrote the names down and just was translating it on the spot for you. Another things that you will hear are dam, dhimi, dhimi taka. So these are the sounds of the drum. So Shiva is said to have a damaru, which is a two-sided drum that you kind of see them like those Tibetan drums where you go like this and the little stick goes back and forth. And so he's supposed to play this like this. And that is supposed to, again, be the creation of the sound of the universe, the rhythm of the universe, the beat of the universe. And some people actually say that's the sound of Om as he makes this drum. So the drum is called a damaru, and it makes these sounds, dim, dhimi, dhimitaka. And usually when we're singing these songs, dim, dim, dhimitaka, natanan Shiva. So you're actually saying dance, dance Shiva to these sounds of the universe. And I think I've covered everything right now. Okay, most of it for now. Let's sing. So if you do have the handouts, you can move towards that. I have one more thing, sorry, I forgot to mention. Famous mantras for Shiva. So I did mention the Rudram already, which is a very long piece. I've tried to learn it. I've only really got through the first chapter, which is about quite long, and there are many, many more to go. And another really important one is Om Namah Shivaya. That is the most common Shiva mantra that there is. And this mantra is actually called the Shiva Pancha, let me see if I pronounce this properly, Panchakshari. Shiva Pancha is 5, so it has 5, it's a 5-syllable mantra. And so it's Namah Shivaya. Okay, so the Om is not included as part of the mantra. So Namah Shivaya, 5 syllables. And the Om Namah Shivaya is considered an extremely powerful mantra. There are a few like all mantras are powerful, but there's a few that are the mantras of the mantras. So Om Namah Shivaya is one. Om Hari Rama, Hari Krishna. The Mahamantra is also another one. Gayatri Mantra is another one. There are a few that are considered the most powerful, and this is one of them. So it is said, even if you just say this over and over again, you will be able to reach samadhi or realization. This mantra is also used, it helps build up your energy in your system, and it helps clear the environment. So this is actually used to clear your house or to clear anywhere where that you want to clear the negative energy. So people may go around sprinkling water around their house, saying Om Namah Shivaya around their house. They may also do it with water with vibhuti. And it's pretty interesting. And then the one thing I was just reading this again, and so that's a powerful mantra. But what's even funnier is that, not funny, but so it is said, Tyagaraja, he's a saint and a singer, and he used to sing the Rama name. So the word Rama, now the reason why Lord Rama was given the word name Rama is because his name is actually more powerful than the God. So the word Rama is actually 2 mantras, 2 very powerful mantras. So Om Namo Narayana, which is a mantra to Vishnu, and Om Namah Shivaya. They took the 2 syllables, the Ra from the Om Namo Narayanaya, and they took the Ma from Om Namah Shivaya. They stuck it together and they got the word Rama. So that's why even my guru would say Rama all the time, because Rama is a combination of both Vishnu and Shiva together to create. So you have 2 extremely powerful mantras together to create an even more powerful mantra. I just thought I would add that in, because it's sometimes easy to separate all of these gods, but really they work together and they're all associated with each other, and they all. I remember I went to a museum once in India, and they were showing how Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva were representations of atoms, of the protons and neutrons and the electrons. So it's just a really interesting, when you go into the science of it all, it's quite deep. Okay, so let's start. So that's one. So Om Namah Shivaya, I'll be singing that a lot in a few moments. And another one is the Mahamrityunjaya mantra, which is the Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityor Mokshiyamamrita Om Klim Namah Shivaya. Now this is an extremely important mantra, and I'm actually not going to teach it today because I feel this mantra just needs its own class. And I've done this in the past with the group, so I'm not going to do it again right now. I think that should be its own mantra. And this is a mantra to be free from death, for liberation. And usually it is sung, actually when people are dying. So some Hindus actually will have the misinformation that it is a death mantra, and it is not a death mantra at all. It is actually a mantra to be free and to be liberation. It's to open up your mind. It's almost like the Gayatri mantra where you're asking to be illuminated. It's the same idea here. You're asking Trayambakam, which is the 3-eyed one, which is Shiva with his 3 eyes, to give you this liberation, to give you this knowledge. Again, I'm not going to teach this right now, but I just wanted to add in that that mantra is associated with Shiva. All right, so let's start singing. I know I spoke a bit too much today. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll try to help you as much as I can. I'm just going to move all these off the harmonium. A little Shiva Lingam. And Vibhuti as well. And I should mention too that when you go around India, you'll see Shiva Lingams everywhere. You'll even see lingams in the river. So when the river runs through the lingam, it's always being blessed. So it's quite fun. Oh, I was going to tell you that story about the funny man. So there's this story of a man who was running away from something, and he climbed up a tree, and he happened to have climbed up a bilwa tree. And so he started, what did he do? He was just throwing them on the floor because he was bored, stuck in the tree. And he happened to have been throwing it on a Shiva Lingam that was on the bottom of the tree. And he happened to have fasted that night because the lyrics are actually in, maybe I'll post the lyrics again. So he just happened to have all of these things there. So Shiva actually granted him immortality, even though he wasn't praying to Shiva. He inadvertently fasted, poured the leaves on the lingam all night, and he wasn't really praying, but he was focused on that. So as I said, he's an easy God to please. So I'm just going to start. So the first song I'm going to sing, with any situation, we always sing a Ganesh song first. So I chose a Ganesha song with Shiva in it. So there are many songs to Ganesha that actually mention Shiva as well. So in this case, I put the song Shambho Kumara Gauri Tanaya. So Shambho, again, we learned about Shambho, which is Shiva. Kumara Gauri Tanaya. So Gauri is another name for Parvati. And then we talk about Ganesha. So I'm going to sing about that one, and I have the meaning. So salutations to Lord Ganesha, son of Shiva and Parvati, who grants boons and destroys obstacles, who is the primordial sound Om. And let me know, I'm going to play with the harmonium, but I'm not sure if you can hear me clearly with it. actually realized I forgot a line in there, so I will correct that and send that again. There was one line missing. I started off with that one specifically because it had a Shiva related name. I know it was a little bit harder to follow. So the next following ones are straight Shiva chants. So this next one is Om Shivaya, Shambho Shankara Om Shivaya, and then that just repeats over and over and over again. So again, as I said, Om is the first sound, Shivaya is the worship of Shiva. Shambho is the abode of joy, the place of joy. Shankara is the doer of good deeds and the giver of grace. And please give us self-realization is what we're asking him. So this time I'm not going to play the harmonium. If the harmonium helps, do type it in and let me know and I will play it. I do find sometimes that the harmonium can overpower the voice in the microphone because I don't have two separate mics. So do let me know if you want me to add it in. Otherwise, I'll just sing it separately. So I'm going to sing it a little bit slower than I would normally sing. So Shiva bhajans are usually really fast because you need to hear the drum. You need to hear the sound and the reverberance. So this is a time when every single person who's a drummer brings out their drums. So wrong side. So you could bring out, here's a dolak I have in the back, or tablas, or tambourines, or manjiras, or all sorts of clangy, noisy things will be played during a Shiva night. There are a few quieter Shiva songs. So for example, there's one I really enjoy singing because I do like to sing the softer and quieter ones too. So my favorite one is actually Shambho Mahadeva, Shiva Shambho Mahadeva, Shambho Mahadeva, Shiva Shambho Mahadeva, Hara Haraya, Bhava Bhavaya, Shiva Shivaya, Namo Namo, Hara Haraya, Shiva Shivaya, Hara Haraya, Namo Namo, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. So again, this is a slower Shiva bhajan. If I do sing this in a bhajan session or a kirtan session, I would normally sing this one near the beginning because it is much slower. Because after this, if I sing this song after a really fast one, it just drops everything. So usually I sing this one first, get that little bit devotional bhakti aspect of it. But then after that, all the bhajans after that are bam, 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 really strong and vibrant and yeah, quite vocal. So as I was saying, so Om Shivaya, Om Shivaya. I'm not going to play on harmonium. Do let me know if you do want me to. So the words are pretty simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sing it each line 4 times, and I'm going to leave us. Actually, for now, I'll sing it all with me singing so that you could actually follow. So I'll sing the first line, and then you can follow in your screens or with me. Actually, maybe I'll do start a note. Okay, I'm just going to play a chord just to keep us on pitch. Om Shivaya, Om Shivaya. That's the first line. Second line is Shambho Shankara Om Shivaya. Third line, Shambho Shankara Om Shivaya. And then the last one, Shambho Shankara Om Shivaya. Okay, so those are the words, and I'm not going to go over the pronunciation because I think this is pretty straightforward. And let's try it. Om Shivaya, Om Shivaya, Om Shivaya, Om Shivaya, Om Shivaya, Om Shivaya, Shambho Shankara Om Shivaya, Shambho Shankara Om Shivaya, Shambho Shankara Om Shivaya. So that's a really simple, short one. I should mention that the style that I grew up in, we usually don't sing our bhajans or kirtans for a very long time. I know that's a different style as well. So we usually have bhajans that are about 2 to 3 minutes, 5 minutes maximum, just so we can get as many songs as we can in one session, so everybody gets a chance to sing, because we pass the mic around. So it's not one lead person singing for the hour. So everybody gets a 3 to 5 minute chance to sing. So that way everybody is involved. All right, so that's a fairly easy one. Next one I will sing. This one is usually sung at the very end, but I'm going to sing it now. I'm starting off with the easier ones to sing, and then the ones later have much more vocabulary that may be more difficult to pronounce. So this one is fairly easy. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. And then again, Shiva Shiva Shankara. Now this word may be a little bit difficult. Shiva Shiva Shankara, then Hara Parameshwara. And Parameshwara is a form of is God. It's another name for Param Ishwara. Those two words are stuck together, so God. Then Sai Ishwaraya Nama Om. Now Sai Ishwaraya, because I'm a Sai follower, a lot of the songs that we sing, they do stick the Sai Ishwaraya to replace words. I couldn't find the original to know what the original word was, so I just kept it to the way that I grew up singing. So just so that you're aware of that, you will see some Sai's in there. That's because I am a follower of Sai. All right, so this one. And I've decided I am going to play with the harmonium, because what I'll do is I'll sing the first line and then I'll play it again. So then when I'm playing the harmonium, that's your cue to sing. Okay? Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva Shiva Shankara Hara Parameshwara Sai Ishwaraya Namah. 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 And then we would go to the fast, third, fourth, fifth fast speed. I'll just do one fast speed here. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva Shiva Shankara Hara Parameshwara Sai Ishwaraya Namah. Shiva Shiva Shankara Hara Parameshwara Sai Ishwaraya Namah. Hari Om Namah
All right, and the next one I'm going to sing is actually on the wrong side. For some reason I put it on this side of it. So it's Shivaya Namah Shiva, Shivaya Namah Shiva, Shivaya Namah Om, Namah Shivaya. Again, short and fast, and people will sing it a couple of times over and over again. And I am not going to go over the words because they're fairly straightforward. And again, please tell me if I'm going too fast. I'm just sort of doing a bhajan session right now. When people are here with me, then I would go through the words. I'll go through the singing with them, word by word, line by line, to make sure that they can pronounce it and are singing it correctly. But since we're doing virtually, I'm just going to be singing so you can have your own mini Shiva session. All right, here we go. Shivaya Namah Shiva, Shivaya Namah Shiva, Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namah Shiva, Shivaya Namah Shiva, Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namah Shiva, Shivaya Namah Shiva. Shivaya Namah Shiva, Shivaya Namah Shiva. Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namah Shiva, Shivaya Namah Shiva, Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namah Shiva, Shivaya Namah Shiva. Shivaya Namah Shiva, Shivaya Namah Shiva. Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namah Shiva, Shivaya Namah Shiva, Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. And that's that one. All right, I have a few more to go. Let's see what the next one. All right. The next one is Hey Shiva Shankara Namami Shankara. So we're talking about Shiva and his name. Shiva Shankara Shambho. So these are all words that we've already gone through. So Hey Girijapati Bhavani Shankara. So Girija, again, another name, Bhavani, as I mentioned before, are another names for Parvati, his spouse. So the Lord of her, and Shiva Shankara Shambho, and that's it. Let me just get the notes for you. Oops, sorry, I forgot. Hey, and this one's a little bit slower actually, not too slow. Hey Shiva Shankara Namami Shankara, Shiva Shankara Shambho. Hey Shiva Shankara Namami Shankara, Shiva Shankara Shambho. Hey Girijapati Bhavani Shankara. Hey
Hey Shiva Shankara Namami Shankara Shiva Shankara Shankara. Hey Girijapati Bhavani Shankara Shiva Shankara Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shiva Shankara Hey Shiva Shankara Namami Shankara Shiva Shankara Shankara. All right. Again, do let me know if I'm going too fast. The next ones I have, let's see how many more. Okay, let's do the next one. So a fun thing that one of my uncle, we call everybody who is an elder an uncle, he used to sing that one that I just sang, and then he would go straight into this next one. And for most of my life, I actually thought it was the same song until somebody told me that it was actually two separate songs. But he used to just, to build up that speed, he would sing these two songs together. So first he would sing that one, and then he would go to this one. So the words are Hara Shiva Shankara Shashanka Shekhara. All right. So again, the Shashank is the crescent moon on his forehead. So Hara Shiva Shankara Shashanka Shekhara, and it's not a Shashanka. It's a nasal N. So you don't really pronounce it as an English na. It's a So I lost the word. Hara Shiva Shankara Shashanka Shekhara, kind of a tongue twister. Hara bum 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 bolo. Bum 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 bum. Those are the sound of the drum. And it's it's almost like a heartbeat. You'll hear it's a bum 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 bum. Bolo means to say. Bhava Bhayankari, and this is the BH, so it's pronounced with a strong aspiration of H, bha, as opposed to ba. So Bhava Bhayankari. Bhava Bhayankara. Oh, this one says Bhayankara. Bhava Bhayankara. Yeah, sorry, it is a Girija, again, Parvati. Shankara. Dhimi, dhimi, dhimi. Again, this is a DH, so dha, not da. Dhimi, dhimi, dhimi. Thaka, nartana, khelo. I know these are a bit of a tongue twister words here. And again, dhimi, dhimi, dhimi. Those are sounds of when he's dancing. So dhimi, dhimi, dhimi. It's the tapping of the feet, the sound and the rhythm of his anklets. Well, he doesn't really wear anklets, but it's sort of like these, right? So it's the dhimi, dhimi, dhimi of when he's dancing the cosmic dance. So how this one goes. Hara Shiva Shankara Shashanka. Oops, sorry. Wrong. Sorry again. Hara Shiva Shankara Shashanka Shekhara Hara bum bum bolo. Yeah, go that a little bit slower because those are very twisty words. Hara Shiva Shankara Shashanka Shekhara Hara bum bum bolo. Again. Hara Shiva Shankara Shashanka Shekhara Hara bum bum bolo. And the next line. Bhava Bhayankara Girija Shankara. I'll say that one more time, a little bit slower. Bhava Bhayankara Girija Shankara Dhimi 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 thaka nartana khelo. So then all that together would go Bhava Bhayankara Girija Shankara Dhimi 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 Thakanartana Kelo. A bit of a tongue twister, but these words actually do repeat over and over in the other songs. So I think you've noticed that I've switched from the songs from before were all just pure the Pancha mantra with the 5 syllables, and now I've moved on to more attributes and descriptions of Shiva. So these are different types of kirtans or bhajans that you would hear. So one are the mantra-based ones, and now I'm going into more descriptive ones of his qualities and of his actions. And that's where the words become more complicated, because now we're bringing in even Hindi words or more difficult words to say. Okay, so let's try this one. Hare Shiva Shankara Shashanka Shekara Hara Bam 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 Bolo. Hare Shiva Shankara Shashanka Shekara Hara Bam Bam Bolo. Hare Shiva Shankara Shashanka Shekara Hara Bam Bam Bolo. Hare Shiva Shankara Shashanka Shekara Hara Bam Bam Bolo. Bhava Bhayankari Girija Shankara Dhimi 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 Thakanartana Kelo. Bhava Bhayankari Girija Shankara Dhimi 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 Thakanartana Kelo. Hare Shiva Shankara Shashanka Shekara Hara Bam Bolo. 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 Bhava Bhayankara Girija Shankara Dhimi 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 Thakanartana Kelo. Bhava Bhayankara Girija Shankara Dhimi 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 Thakanartana Kelo. Bhava Bhayankara Girija Shankara Dhimi 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 Thakanartana Kelo. Bhava Bhayankara Girija Shankara Dhimi Dhimi Thakanartana Kelo. Hare Shiva Shankara Shashanka Shekara Hara Bam Bolo. Hare Shiva Shankara Shashanka Shekara Hara Bam Bolo. Bhava Bhayankara Girija Shankara Dhimi 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 Thakanartana Kelo. Bhava Bhayankara Girija Shankara Dhimi 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 Thakanartana Kelo. Hare Shiva Shankara Shashanka Shekara Hara Bam Bolo. Hare Shiva Shankara Shashanka Shekara Hara Bam Bolo. Bhava Bhayankara Girija Shankara Dhimi 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 Thakanartana Kelo. Bhava Bhayankara Girija Shankara Dhimi 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 Thakanartana Kelo. 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 Hare Shiva Shankara Shashanka Shekara Hara Bam Bolo. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that one. I'm going to only do about 2 more now. My voice is starting to go a little bit. Had a bit of a cold the last few days. So let me just pick one from here. Let's see, which one should we do? Okay, I'm going to do something on the next page because I do have quite a few more here. I'll just sing the line so you just know this. So this dhimika dhimika dim, I'll just sing it so you can hear it. So if you do want to learn it for future reference. Dhimika dhimika dim, dhimika dhimika dim, nache bholanath. And again, we're talking about the drum beat. I'm going to sing, I'm going to skip a couple down. I'm going to go on the second page and I'm going to do the last 2 songs here. And these ones are quite famous ones and I really like them. And everybody always sings the next one that I'm going to do. We usually teach this to the kids because they love to say dum, 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 dum. So the words for this one, dum, 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 damaru bhaje. So again, dum, 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 dum is the sound of the drum, dum, 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 dum. Damaru is the name of the drum that he has, bhaje. So the beats of the drum and the sound. So Hare Bole Nata Shiva Shambho Bhaje. And again, as I told you, we do some sighs in here. Hare Sai Nata Shiva Shambho Bhaje. I just realized that I forgot to put the spaces in between this, so all the words are all clumped together. Ghana 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 Ghanta Bhaje. So again, these are the sounds of the bells. Ghan 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 Ghan. Ghana Bhaje. Hare Gauri Nata Shiva Shambho Bhaje. Gauri again is Parvati. And that's pretty much it. So I'm just going to sing this one because we're actually running out of time already. I'm just going Dum 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 damaru bhaje, dum 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 damaru bhaje, dum 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 damaru bhaje, dum 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 damaru bhaje. Hare Bole Nata Shiva Shambho Bhaje, Hare Bole Nata Shiva Shambho Bhaje, Hare Sai Nata Shiva Shambho Bhaje, Hare Sai Nata Shiva Shambho Bhaje. Dum 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 damaru bhaje, dum 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 damaru bhaje. Ghana 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 Ghanta bhaje, Ghana 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 Ghanta bhaje, Ghana 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 Ghanta bhaje, Ghana 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 Ghanta bhaje. Hare Gauri Nata Shiva Shambho Bhaje, Hare Gauri Nata Shiva Shambho Bhaje, Hare Sai Nata Shiva Shambho Bhaje, Hare Sai Nata Shiva Shambho Bhaje. Dum 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 damaru bhaje, dum 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 damaru bhaje. Hare Gauri Nata Shiva Shambho Bhaje, Hare Gauri Nata Shiva Shambho Bhaje, Hare Sai Nata Shiva Shambho Bhaje, Hare Sai Nata Shiva Shambho Bhaje. Ghana 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 bhaje, Ghana 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 bhaje, Hare Bole Nata Shiva Shambho Bhaje, Hare Sai Nata Shiva Shambho Bhaje. Dham 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 dhamaru bhaje. So I'm going to end off with one song I really enjoy. It's called Bolo Bolo Sab Mila Bolo. This is a bit of Hindi here. So Bolo Bolo is let's all say or sing. Bolo Bolo Sab Mila, so sab is all. Let's all say Om Namah Shivaya. So I'm saying let's all sing Om Namah Shivaya, the prayer. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Now these are a bit of Hindi words here. Juta Jata Me Ganga Dhari. So the Ganges is flowing from his matted hair, the Jata, the matted hair, Jata. Sorry, Jata is the word for matted hair. Trishula, oh, I didn't speak about the Trishula. The Trishula is the trident of the three-pronged trident. So Trishula Dhari, he holds the trident. Dhamaru, again the drum. Bhajave, so he's playing the dhamaru. And what is he playing? He's playing dum 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 damaru bhaje. Sorry. Gunja gata. Oh, there's a typo here. Gunjata. Gunjuta. That's right. Gunjuta Om Namah Shivaya. So you hear the atmosphere ringing with Om Namah Shivaya. Then Om Namah Shivaya. And usually what is done at the end of the song, people will just be saying Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya over and over and over, and then go higher and higher and faster and faster. And then here you'll have, this is usually a song that's done at the very end. It's one of the a near end bhajan that will be done. Again, I'm going to sing a little bit slower because we're still learning, or you may know it already. Bolo bolo sab mila bolo Namah Shivaya. 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Bolo bolo sab mila bolo Om Namah Shivaya. Bolo bolo sab mila bolo Om Namah Shivaya. Sorry, let me do that again. Sorry. Bolo bolo sab mila bolo Om Namah Shivaya. Bolo bolo sab mila bolo Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Bolo bolo sab mila bolo Om Namah Shivaya. Bolo bolo sab mila bolo Om Namah Shivaya. Jyot jitani Ganga Nari. Jyot jitani Ganga Nari. Jyot jitani Ganga Nari. Jyot jitani Ganga Nari. Trishul dhari dhaman bajave. Trishul dhari dhaman bajave. Dhama 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 rujan. Dhama 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 rujan. Rujan Namah Shivaya. Rujan Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Bolo bolo sab mila bolo Om Namah Shivaya. Bolo bolo sab mila bolo Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Bolo sab mila bolo Om Namah Shivaya. Bolo sab mila bolo Om Namah Shivaya. Jyot jitani Ganga Nari. Jyot jitani Ganga Nari. Trishul dhari dhaman bajave. Trishul dhari dhaman bajave. Dhama 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 rujan. Dhama 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 rujan. Rujan Namah Shivaya. Rujan Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Bolo bolo sab mila bolo Om Namah Shivaya. And that's it. Namaste. I'm going to end a little bit early because my voice is slightly going. I hope you enjoyed this. You're welcome to listen to this over and over again. If you do have any questions, let me know. Just type them in or email me, and happy Shivaratri. And feel free to play these again on the actual Shivaratri day. That would be the best time to do it. That would be on the 13th, coming up next week. And that's it. Namaste. Sarah.